better give me that money.
Hey, dirty. Baby, I got your money, don't you worry. I said, hey, baby, I got your money. Hey, dirty. Baby, I got your money.
Welcome to Bet It, Bank It, Blow It, presented by Seize the Gap Fantasy Football. I am Jamie G, Esquire the Fifth, and I want to share something I learned a long time ago with you.
Sometimes when you win, you really lose. And sometimes when you lose, you really win. And sometimes when you win or lose, you actually tie. And sometimes when you tie, you actually win or lose.
The Kansas City Chiefs may have won the Super Bowl, but we feel like we lost after watching that again. I'm here at Magnum Mills, and we're going to see if we at least made a little cash off yet another Chiefs victory.
I am Magnum Mills, and I am conflicted. I like Andy Reid, and I like making money, but I really don't like seeing the Chiefs win another Super Bowl. Luckily, you're already a winner because you're checking out Bet It, Bank It, Blow It, presented by Seize the Gap Fantasy Football. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. We are on social media at Seize the Gap FF, and you can find Seize the Gap on the web at seizthegapff.com. Thank you for remembering all that. And while you're at it, try not to forget the flaps. Follow, like, and please subscribe. All we ask helps other people find our channel, find our show. So if you had fun, please remember to hit the thumb.
This is the last time that we'll ever break down results from the 2023 NFL season. Hopefully, we're going out on a high note, like George Costanza, right?
All right. That's it for me. Be good, everybody.
Well, I guess we could start with our wager of the week results from the Super Bowl. Jamie G, you did high note it, nothing aggressive. You put 5 cricket coins on the Kansas City Chiefs +2 at -110, and you won. So you brought home 9.55 cricket coins on that $5 wager. I threw 5 on Travis Kelce being the MVP. That was +1,200. He did not get there, so I lost 5 on it. As far as our additional action from the Super Bowl, I had 4 cricket coins on a 2-leg single game parlay. Brock Purdy over 0.5 interceptions, which did not happen. Kansas City Chiefs -2, which did happen, but you got to hit them both, so lost 4 on that bad boy. I had 3 cricket coins on a 4-leg single game parlay here. I hit 2 legs, Brock Purdy under 0.5 interceptions, and Patrick Mahomes over 0.5 interceptions, but I missed on the San Francisco money line and Christian McCaffrey being a 2+ anytime touchdown scorer. So lost 3 on that bad boy. And finally, lost 5 cricket coins on a little 2-legger. I had Jake Moody under 1.5 field goals made. He smashed that. And I had Kansas City winning the first quarter -1.5. So big negative there. Lost 5. So took an L on the additional action. Jamie G, you were pretty straight up on these. You had 2 cricket coins on any team to score 30+ points. That did not happen. You had 2 cricket coins on a 2-leg single game parlay. Kansas City on the first half money line. Kansas City over 10.5 first half points. Neither of those got there. And finally, you had 2.15 cricket coins on another 2-legger. The Kansas City money line parlayed with George Kittle being an anytime TD scorer. That also did not get there. So on the week, Jamie G, you had took a small L. You booked a loss of -1.6 coins. I took a big L. Shout out Big L, 139, the danger zone. I lost 17 coins. I still won on the season. I have a balance of 39.68 coins, while you have just 9.55 coins. But neither one of us are really winners because on the season, I am down a little over 60 coins and you are down a little over 90 coins. But I think we can live with that. We were really just trying to figure this out, have some fun with it. We probably should have been a little bit more serious, but that didn't even work for Jamie G this week, except for the one. We tried, though.
I'm out of moves.
Come on, there's got to be something. We got to think big. We got to think.
Absolutely enormous. I mean, does he need special pants?
I swear to God, it looked at me.
Throughout the season, Mills and I have put together a 3-leg parlay for tripod time. I've got the results from our Super Bowl wager, and unfortunately, they weren't exactly super. I hate to break it down like this, but we're going to. We had what we thought was an incredible 3-legger here. We had Christian McCaffrey to score 2 touchdowns anytime 2 anytime touchdown score, did not hit. He got 1, didn't get 2. We had Travis Kelce anytime touchdown score. All the son of a bitch had to do was get a touchdown. He couldn't even do it. And then we had the Kansas City Chiefs first half money line, which they did not do. We were 0 for 3 on this. It was a 3-leg parlay that paid out at plus 1,100. $100 would have win $1,200 here. I like this still. It just didn't work.
We had a particular way we thought the game was going to go. It involved Kansas City getting up early. That didn't happen here. Slightly unrelated, but before we do the overall results for tripod time, do you think if Travis Kelce had scored the game-winning touchdown in overtime that he'd win the MVP?
No, but I do think
it would have been close. That's what I was trying to figure out in my head. If we could have gotten these to pay off, he would at least been in the argument. That probably would have put him over 100 yards. Almost probably 9 receptions, to the game-winning touchdown. It would have been close at least. You might have got some people who were hesitant to maybe give it to Mahomes again. So I'm just trying to find a way to make my Travis Kelce MVP bet happen. On the season for tripod time, we did 9 of these bad boys. We went 1-8. That doesn't sound that great, but we actually only would have booked a loss of minus $197 if we'd been putting 100 on it every week. It helped that, the one we got there on was a pretty big boy. We got 48% of our legs right, 13 of 27. And we only got skunked 3 times where we hit 0 of the 3, including Mr. Super Bowl here. Only once did we hit 1 out of the 3 legs. And 4 times we hit 2 of the 3 legs without getting that third one. So we were right there on the verge. If we would have just hit 1 more of those, we would have turned a profit on these. So it's just something you kind of have to pay attention to when you're doing something like this. The results aren't going to be instant. And you just need that one big win or two to kind of swing it in your favor. Jamie G, any takeaways from doing these 3-leg parlays on tripod time?
Look, if we get 2 out of 10, I think it's where we want to be. We were close. The end of the day, we only got 1 right, but there was plenty of times we got 2 out of the 3 legs right. So I think, it'd be interesting to see what it looks like after the course of a whole season of doing this. But I think we were right. I think we're on the right direction here, man, in terms of trying to get a couple wins out of every 10, right? And so we were closer than the scoreboard shows, but at the end of the day, we only got the 1.
Yeah. The hand grenades and hand grenades, darts, horseshoes. There are a couple.
Yeah, people always forget about darts. Darts, you can get almost
close kind of counts. Sometimes you miss, you accidentally hit a triple. Oh, but that's too much. And then you got to start playing double in, double out, 501 and everything. The one thing I would say is it seemed to help when we would find something to ride. Whether it's a team, an interception streak, Pacheco getting a lot of work. I think that is a key because sometimes it takes a week or 2 for the betting market to catch up to big changes. So you will get a number that's a little bit soft there. That's something we found with Pacheco with the amount of volume he was getting, especially post McKinnon injury and after he returned from his injury. So I would say you're not going to get enough juice by just riding those by themselves. That's the kind of thing you want to be mixing into your 2-leg, your 3-leg, your 4-leg parlays, that kind of thing. And did you think it got any easier or did it get harder as we went through the playoffs and our number of games we could choose from every week got smaller? Do you think that actually helped or do you think it made it harder or it didn't really matter?
I actually think it made it harder. I think it made it harder. I know you had a clearer focus on trying to, okay, we only got a couple games to predict, but I think by and large, the playoffs didn't really go how a lot of people thought they would. It was kind of not a lot of offense. It just made it tougher, in my opinion, when there's a full slate. I know you can get paralysis by analysis, but to me, it seemed a little bit easier to pick, some things that you felt surefire about. But when there was only 2 or 3 games going on, it made it a little bit harder for me. What about you, Mills?
I think that's a very good analysis. You will get just a couple of softies if you have the full menu up. You have 16 games going on, even in a bye week or something where you have 13 games. There's always so much to choose from. Even if you have a Thursday night game already played, you have a Black Friday game. There's still so much to choose from. There are a lot of single game parlay options, but when you're putting these legs together, I do think you really need, at least 10 games to really kind of maximize your return on these. So something fun to do. Did not mind to continue to do it during the playoffs, but maybe when you get less teams, that's when you start being really aggressive and just hope to hit the 1, and then that pays off all the rest, kind of.
Somebody call a doctor because it's time to.
Hell yeah.
Mills, please remind us how this works and hit us with the results.
Pretty simple thing here. We each started out with 100 cricket coins. Every week we had to each put it on a single wager and let it ride. If you win, great. You get to let it ride again next week. If you lose, your opponent gets a point. You go back to 100. You start again. To win the game, you have to get to 1,000 cricket coins and be leading in points. As far as week 22, JBG, you had a comfortable lead here because you were winning in points. You couldn't lose, but you put it all on Christian McCaffrey, 466.29 coins on Christian McCaffrey, anytime touchdown scorer, minus 220. You hit that bad boy, so you finished out with 678.24 coins. Very nice. I had to do something drastic here. I couldn't catch you in points, but I wanted to make a real impact. So I put my 100 cricket coins on a correct score wager that the final score would be Kansas City 27, San Francisco 24. That was plus 6,000 if it had hit. It wound up being San Francisco 22, Kansas City 25. I had the 20s right. I had the margin of victory right. I was not off by that much, but I still get the prices right sound because I did not get it. On the season, Jamie G is the champion, 678.24 coins and 5 points. Only busted once. I busted 5 times. I am down at the bottom. The lesson I learned here is don't fall behind. But that's then you start chasing. But that's why we have the points in there that kind of, it's a little bit of a tortoise or the hare exercise here. That was the point, to get an idea of how aggressive you should be in something like this when you're trying to build a bankroll from a very small number. Jamie G, what did you learn by doing this?
Yeah, definitely try not to fall behind. I think that's the right thing. But I think for me, it was more about with this one, with some of our other stuff like Dollar and a Dream and some of the other things, it was more about kind of taking a chance. For me with this one, it was let's just get a win. Let's just take what we feel this was almost like my most confident play of the week in some regards, and just played it like that.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was supposed to be. And if you're doing something like this where you're literally letting it ride, yeah, you don't want to be messing around too much. And that's why there's no parlays or anything like that. You just got to put it on one wager. Don't get cute. Let it ride. And, then it just becomes a matter of when you get on a streak, when do you get off? That's the hardest part sometimes, is walking away from the table while you are still comfortably in the green, because you are only one bad bet away from going back down to 100 coins and starting all over again.
I think moving forward, Mills, I'm excited about this one. I think it'd be interesting to see doing this a full season and see how we play out. I think there should be maybe some benchmarks along the way, maybe some bonus points, first to 5, first to 10 points, something like that. Gets a little
we'll work on that. We kind of did this on the fly a little bit this year, so we will come up with more ideas and somehow try to get Dr. Dre. One of those things might be more achievable than the other, and it's probably getting Dr. Dre, but we'll see.
Yeah, well.
And Dr. Dre from Yo MTV Raps, just FYI.
Can we get Ed Lover too? All right, I'm done. For the last time this season, holla back at you, girl. No, we're not talking about Gwen Stefani. It's time for Paula's Picks.
Straight up now, tell me, is it gonna be you and me together?
Mills, remind us how this works and break down the results. Straight up now, tell me.
I will straight up tell you that during the season, what we would do is we would each pick our 3 favorite underdogs straight up on the money line. So if you took an underdog who was plus 250 to win and they won, you'd get 250 points. Pretty simple. We kept adding them up. As the playoffs went along, we didn't have 3 underdogs to choose from at one point, and it wasn't necessarily easy to make us each take the same team as an underdog in the Super Bowl. So what we did is you were allowed to bid your points and pick the winner. So if you had 1,000 points, you could bid anywhere from 1 point to 1,000 points on whatever team you thought would win the Super Bowl. They win, you win your points. They lose, you get nada. Jamie G, you put 326 points on Kansas City to win, and you got there. Congratulations. I was ahead. I did the math thing. I did the Price is Right Jeopardy thing. I put 105 points on Kansas City to win. That also got there. So for the season, I am triumphant. I have 863 points, while you have 652. And I think while it was fun in the playoffs, doing the bidding and everything, I think it was far more interesting during the regular season trying to pick the underdogs on the money line, right? Because you usually get 3 that win every week.
And it just helps you kind of take a look at, making your wagers throughout the week just with a different lens. Oftentimes we're just going for the opposite. And when you really pause to think about it like this, I thought it was a good, healthy exercise for anyone that's trying to figure out, their plays for the week. This was a fun one for me.
And I think it's also a good exercise to get you out of the habit of taking the teams that are underdogs by 1.5, 2.5 points. A lot of times you are better off just straight up taking them on the money line. They're going to, there's not very often that they're going to lose, but they're going to get there by the sliver, really. So I think in that case, it's very important to just start being like, I think they're going to win, and just go with them to win. Don't get cute. If you're going to go 1 or 2 points, buy back points on the other side. Take the underdog, -1, -2, get a little bit of extra squeeze on the juice there.
Nothing like squeezing the juice. And we end every episode with our dollar and a dream wagers. And it doesn't matter if you're as poor as Dewey Crow or as rich as Theo Tonin. Everybody wants to turn a dollar into something much, much more. And that's what we're here to do. That is our job. Mills, are we Kentucky dreaming after last time? Are we each down one last dollar bill, y'all?
Oh, cash does rule everything around me. Jamie G, you tried to rule your dreams with a 9-leg single game parlay. Would have paid out plus 25,000. You hit a good portion of this 9-legger. You got there with the Kansas City money line. Christian McCaffrey is an anytime touchdown scorer. Patrick Mahomes over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Travis Kelce over 70.5 receiving yards, and Kansas City over 24.5 team points. You did not get there. The running backs really let you down. Isaiah Pacheco did not score a touchdown. Isaiah Pacheco did not get over 66.5 rushing yards. Kyle Juszczyk did not score an anytime touchdown, and Kansas City did not win the race to 10 points. That bad boy would have brought home 251 ducats on that $1 wager. I had a 10-leg single game parlay in the Super Bowl. I didn't hit quite as many legs as Jamie G, but I had a couple of fun ones. I had Kansas City -2 points on the alternate spread. That was right. Travis Kelce over 79.5 receiving yards. Patrick Mahomes with 300 plus passing yards, and Christian McCaffrey as an anytime touchdown scorer. Those were all correct. What was not correct was over 52 points in the game. Yes to a touchdown happening every quarter. Harrison Butker over 2.5 extra points made. Rashee Rice over 76.5 receiving yards. Brock Purdy with 275 plus passing yards. And Travis Kelce as an anytime touchdown scorer. That bad boy would have brought home $181 from a $1 wager. Jamie G, we didn't hit any of these. I did get really cool. I hit like 13 out of a 14-legger or something wild. I almost got there, but we only would have lost less than $10, right? For literally less than $10, we had a chance to win hundreds of dollars every week.
I don't know about you guys, but for me, it is so fun to look through. And again, this gets harder to do when you only got 1 or 2 games. You're basically forced to do single game parlays. But I think this is a ton of fun throughout the regular season when you can basically take your favorite 7 to 5 to 10, maybe 12 different options and put it together, throw a buck on it and win a couple $100. That's awesome, dude. And I think it gets easier when you have more of a menu. And so this is another one, Mills. I'll bet you dimes to dollars at some point next year we hit 1 or 2 of these, because again, you were so close. You had something crazy. Each and every week, most of the time, we're getting more right than not. So it's just a matter of kind of fine tuning here, but we're close, man. I think this is just a fun way to approach, football Sundays as they come throughout the regular season.
Yeah, think about it. You can't even really get a fun lottery scratch off for $1. So instead of maybe even buying a Powerball ticket, let's face it, you're not going to win. And now you have to get the multiplier or whatever. You're basically at like $5. So for $5, you could throw in 5 of these little $1 parlays and have a better chance than you would on a scratch off, I think, of bringing home a couple $100. And if you're really feeling frisky, throw the whole 5 on it, and then you can maybe take home thousands of dollars for one of these.
Mills, he'll always have 5 on it for us.
I like loonies.
All right, man. Any other thoughts on the 2023 NFL season from a wagering standpoint?
I haven't really broken it down. It did seem that there wasn't quite the home field advantage. Maybe that has been a trend that has been running for years. Some of the scoring felt a little bit off during the year. I think part of it was there were so many backup quarterbacks who played. I don't know if there's
Yeah.
a way we can incorporate that next year as far as win totals. Maybe it's something that's more applicable in our fantasy drafts and in DFS lineups. But injuries continue to be maybe the determining factor, unfortunately, for a lot of success in the NFL. And I know Jamie G is a Buffalo Bills fan, can attest to that. In the same way you can look at Kansas City and, yes, they were down Joe Thuney in that final game, but they had a vast majority of their players available, as did the San Francisco 49ers. So I don't think it's something that we can adjust for, but I think on the fly, you need to be willing to adjust, especially when a quarterback changes to Joe Flacco taking over or Jake Browning taking over or Mason Rudolph taking over or whatever, Josh Dobbs. It was a year, man.
It definitely was, man. And injuries can kill a team, but injuries at the most important position, it's just really tough. And I think overall you saw that shake out. We don't have a full menu this soon after the Super Bowl, but we still can have a little bit of fun with some NFL future wagers. Mills, walk us through a few of these.
I love it. It's we're still in the February 2024, but we are technically going to be betting on the 2024 season Super Bowl here, which is going to take place in 2025, and that's already a quarter away through this century and old. We'll just old. Let's start out here. Just go with one chalk team, one chalk wager to win the Super Bowl. Jamie G, I will let you have two, so your Buffalo Bills can be one. I will say right now, the Kansas City Chiefs are the second chalk at plus 650. So if I was laying one of the short numbers, I am taking them, over the 49ers, the Ravens, and unfortunately, even the Bills at Lions, Bengals, those teams towards the top. Jamie G, is it just the Bills? Are you willing to even go there? You don't want to reverse jinx yourself or cross jinx? I forget how the jinxing works here.
Reverse double secret jinx. Look, I love the Bills at plus 1,000. I mean, I'm gonna do it every single year. Obviously, the easiest thing to do is the Chiefs. I do think that the NFC, while you want to go Lions, I've got a little bit of a creeper here. I like the Rams, bro. I like the Rams as a potential Super Bowl 2025, digging way deep here as kind of my creeper. But for the chalk, I got to take my Bills, buddy. And if I'm not taking my Bills, I got to take the Chiefs.
Get the Rams plus 3,500. I mean, I guess that is a little bit creeper. I mean, they're sandwiched right between the Chicago Bears and the Colts, tied with the Falcons. I mean,
Crazy that the Bears have better odds. Like, that blows my mind.
yeah, that is something, I guess, especially not knowing the outcome of how the draft is going to shake out for them. I also in the mid range, I don't mind Green Bay plus 2,000 and the Houston Texans plus 2,200. I like both of those numbers. If I was going to go longer, I would go a bit past the Rams there, although I do like that. I would just want a little bit more juice there. Give me the Colts plus 4,500. Maybe they really do well in the draft. They've got some cap room. Anthony Richardson comes back. I like the coaching there. The Steelers plus 7,500. If they get a quarterback, I know you're not the biggest Justin Fields fan, and I don't love Arthur Smith, but Arthur Smith can be an effective NFL offensive coordinator. He just ruins your team for watchability and fantasy and that kind of thing. He can actually maybe work with Justin Fields or something like that. And if super long shot, the Commanders plus 10,000. What if they do manage to get up to one to Caleb Williams? It all comes together. They break the Snyder curse. Why not Washington? That should be the t-shirts they have printed up this year. Why not Washington?
Why not Washington? You know what? That should be. I like it, Mills. I like it.
All right, man. Let's move over to MVP. Once again, Josh Allen is the second chalk here, plus 650. I do like him very much personally as my chalkiest of the chalk bets. Anybody besides Josh Allen? Can you give me anybody besides Josh Allen?
I'd love to believe in a world Jordan Love can do it, but I just don't think he can. I think he's going to have a great season. I think one to look out for is Joe Burrow. I could picture him getting a little bit of lift and love coming back off that injury. And if he has a big season and they go particularly far and maybe even make the Super Bowl, I could picture him, getting that getting that at plus 800. That's about as chalkiest as I'll go outside of Josh or Mahomes.
I like that. I actually had my two mid-range options were Jordan Love plus 1,200 and CJ Stroud plus 1,400, which align with those were also my Super Bowl picks. So I just like those teams, given the divisions they play in, the young quarterbacks, the young cores they have, and the number we're getting on them. Jamie G, creeper MVP. digging the crates a little bit for this one. I will say my first two were not that short, but they're definitely shorter. Anthony Richardson plus 4,000, Justin Fields plus 4,000. You know, a little bit of a theme with the dual threat quarterbacks could put up some huge numbers. You know, maybe take a team to the playoffs for the first time in a minute. Who do you got, man? Creeper MVP.
Following my Rams thing, I'm going to go Matthew Stafford at plus 3,000. It's wild to me. It tells you how much of a quarterback league this is that Christian McCaffrey's plus 4,000, but I still think that's not totally out of the realm. But one that I think you could actually maybe get me there on if I'm really like digging deep here is Baker Mayfield at plus 7,500, dude. If they find themselves in like the NFC Championship game or something, depending on where he lands, assuming it's Tampa Bay, yeah, that one isn't that crazy.
Is there anywhere that would be better than Tampa Bay for Baker in terms of winning the MVP that you could think of?
Potentially Atlanta. I mean, it's in division, but there's a lot of weapons in Atlanta. I could see that being a thing, man.
Denver do anything for you if they found a way to fit him under the cap? Okay, that's about the reaction I was looking for. I don't have a ton of super long shots. You don't really see that happen very often, the Kurt Warner types. I did throw Jaden Daniels, incoming rookie, plus 13,000. Again, got that rushing, that dual threat upside, could smash some rookie records or something maybe, and just make a run for it. And finally, Will Levis plus 15,000, just in the hopes that Brian Callahan's in there and just revamps that entire Tennessee offense and makes it, brings it into this century and just let it rip, basically. So that's what I got on the long stuff. JBG, you have any other super long shots?
You mentioned earlier you could see Jamar Chase absolutely crushing. Again, any non-quarterback is a long shot. I don't care what the odds are, but at plus 15,000, it's possible, man, that you could maybe make the case there.
Yeah, it feels that it's basically for a non-quarterback to win the MVP, someone has to smash some record. Right.
Yeah.
Or maybe Christian McCaffrey if he had a double, 1,000 season. But otherwise, Tyreek Hill needs 2,000 yards. Someone needs 25 touchdowns. It's got to be absolutely epic, I think, for a non-quarterback to win it. Before we move on to offensive player, I just want to mix in a little bit of a draft one here real quick, JVG. Marvin Harrison Jr., widely regarded as a Jamar Chase level wide receiver prospect. I just want to ask you, will he be drafted in the top 3 picks? Yes or no?
No.
No, I'm also going with no, and he's pretty much, unless trades happen, I think he's probably going 4th to the Cardinals. That seems to be the one thing in the draft you can mark, which makes sense because he's plus 1,200 to go first, plus 800 to go second, and plus 225 to go third. At the most, maybe third if someone wanted to get cute. JBG, would you like that for New England if they, instead of taking your quarterback, took Marvin Harrison Jr.? Would you be scared that that's getting New England back on the right track because they took kind of the sure thing? Or would you be kind of happy because they're again, not addressing their quarterback position?
I would love it if they did. That's fine. I just.
Right. They're getting the better player, but they need a quarterback so badly that it's not a luxury. If anything, they should just trade back and get all the picks.
And I don't think they know how to use it, dude. They wouldn't know how to use Marvin Harrison Jr.
I'm worried they would break him, dude. I'm worried they would hurt him. They have been so bad at drafting wide receivers. I'm worried they're the only team in the league that might be able to ruin Marvin Harrison Jr. That's what I'm worried about.
All those things. Yes, 100%.
I mentioned it, offensive player of the year. You got a clear top tier. Christian McCaffrey plus 500. Tyreek Hill plus 650, Justin Jefferson plus 650, CeeDee Lamb plus 850. Of that group, if you had to throw 100 on it, who are you throwing in?
I'm going to go with Tyreek Hill, man, plus 650. Obviously, I love C-Mac at plus 500. You can see that happening again. But I think Hill, if he stays healthy, man, I think he can maybe break that record. Again, they didn't win the division, so not going to be playing the toughest schedule. Bills will have that this year. So I could see them playing lesser talent and putting up numbers like they did this year. If he's healthy, I think he had a chance. Give me Tyreek Hill at plus 650.
I like that. And I'm going to get a little weird with it here, and I'm going to go with CeeDee Lamb to screw the Cowboys over. And you might ask, well, how does CeeDee Lamb winning offensive player of the year screw the Cowboys over? Because the Cowboys have to pay Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons, and CeeDee Lamb. If he has that kind of major season, that is going to screw the Cowboys cap over so much, because then he is going to be determined to chop whatever Jefferson and Jamar Chase get, because they're both probably going to get there first. that can put CD Lamb's contract into the stratosphere. So I hate rooting for a Cowboy, but in this case, I'm rooting for CD Lamb to get all the money, because if he can't be on the Eagles, he at least needs to bankrupt another team. Let's just move past that. Favorite wagers after kind of the big four, the top tier here, anything except extreme long shots, any kind of mid-range plays for offensive player of the year. Come on, you got to be all over James Cook plus 7,500.
Yes, I am. I'm trying not to do the reverse double, but look, I think it's possible. We saw he basically put up 1,100 yards in half a season. He really wasn't used much first half of the year. He had a little bit of a case of the drops. He caught a lot of balls, but he had a chance at another 3, 4, 5 touchdowns, plus another, maybe a couple hundred yards. And that was, again, not even a full season's worth. So I think it's possible, man. I mean, I don't hate it.
It's a weird mid-range because all of the top options are wide receivers. So it felt to me that all the value almost was on running backs kind of once you get past that top group. I also like Pacheco at plus 7,500, Devin Achane at plus 4,000, and Breece Hall at plus 3,500, and James Cook at plus 7,500. My one wide receiver, get a little weird with it, Keenan Allen plus 8,000. I could see Harbaugh coming in. Maybe they move on from Mike Williams, and he just gets catches 150 passes or just something wild. If he could stay healthy, I could see it. So I don't mind taking that shot plus 8,000. I don't think he'd ever score enough touchdowns to get the MVP, but I think he could accumulate maybe to get offensive player of the year. JBG,
Yeah.
any super long shots here? Offensive player of the year. I don't know what Khalil Shakir is going off, but I bet you do.
Yeah, I'm not going to say Khalil Shakir, although Shakir, I love you. He's already putting in work with Eric Moulds. You got to love that if you're a Bills fan. Follow his Instagram. He's putting it in, man. I'm going Tank Dell, bro, at plus 15,000. Again, if he stays healthy, you got CJ Stroud, year 2. Stranger things have happened, man. Like Tank Dell at plus 15,000 is pretty attractive, honestly.
And what really is ironic is that Tank Dell could win Offensive Player of the Year before we get a new season of Stranger Things. So,
yes,
because somebody call Alanis Morissette on that one. I broke the rule a little bit. I threw one quarterback in here, Matthew Stafford, plus 10,000. I just think there's a universe where maybe he doesn't do quite enough to get the MVP, but Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and Kyron Williams all go absolutely crazy, and Stafford's in the middle of it. So maybe somehow that, rising tide lifts all boats a little bit there. Also like T. Higgins plus 10,000, him maybe going to a new team, just tearing it up, again, getting all the work. Marvin Harrison plus 12,000. Marvin Harrison Jr. coming in as a rookie, does something like leading the league in yardage as a receiver or something like that. Could get a chance. And Jamie G, I have to go there because your boy left town. Kyle Pitts plus 25,000, offensive player of the year. He was hurt all last year. He's finally going to be healthy. He's got a new coach. It's plus 25,000. You're not talking me out of it. So I'm not even going to give you a chance to.
it's going to happen. All the Kyle Pitt truthers out there in Dynasty, you guys are finally going to get what you wanted.
Yeah, I'm going to drink some torpedo juice after he wins that award, put it that way. Let's move over to the defensive side of the ball. Defensive player of the year. You got a top tier of 5 guys. Micah Parsons plus 550, Nick Bosa plus 650, TJ Watt plus 700, Myles Garrett plus 700, Max with the double X Crosby plus 700. JVG, same deal. If you're throwing a hundo down on one of these guys to win DPOY, who is it?
I think he got robbed this year. I like the value here. TJ Watt plus 700. I think he could lead the league in sacks. I think he gets it next year, man. Particularly if Pittsburgh, I know they made the playoffs, but they kind of eked in. They compete to win that division next year. They get some competent quarterback play. The team looks better in general. I could see TJ Watt getting that award. I think he should have had it this year, honestly. Plus 700. Give me TJ Watt.
Yeah, fair enough. He does seem like he is always right there in the running for it. I am going to take the same odds there, but I'm going to go Max with the double X Crosby just because he threw it down. He told the Raiders, look, if you don't bring Antonio Pierce back, I'm out of here. He strikes me as the put your money where your mouth is kind of dude. He got his coach, whatever. I'm calling 20 plus sacks. Crosby goes off on one, wins defensive player of the year. You have any mid-range options here? Anything kind of between these guys and the plus 10,000 range?
It's kind of weird. There's a couple of linebackers. I know linebackers don't really get it. So I was like, all right, well, what about, do we have somebody who could win, based on interceptions. And I went to the young fellow in Dallas and I said, man, he had how many interceptions this year? 5? That didn't get it done. What does it take for a position that's not a sack artist to get it done? And the answer is, I don't think they can. I don't have anybody mid-range, Mills. I don't.
He's just giving it to the big guys. I pretty much went with the big uglies for my mid-range options here. Brian Burns plus 4,000 depends a little bit on where he lands. Aaron Donald plus 5,000 just feels a little light here. I feel like he should still be plus 3,000, plus 3,500. I like what the Rams could do. He's got some young talent around him now, finally giving him a little bit of help. Jalen Carter plus 6,000. Maybe he has a big breakthrough for the Eagles next season. And Jamie G, I know you'll hate this one. Sauce Gardner plus 5,000.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something. Ahmed Gardner, AJ Epinesa has as many interceptions as Ahmed Gardner in his career. And the Bull in Dallas had 5 or 6 pick sixes and couldn't win it. So I think it's tough to do.
Oh man, hey.
Well, everyone does like him more than you. So you're the only one who can see the, you got your tinfoil on or whatever. I know you got to have a long shot for me. I know you got to have a defensive player long shot for me. Maybe a couple. Buddy. I mean, Trey White, Tre'Davious White coming back quicker.
You're in the universe, but dude, I'm going with who I think is the best linebacker in the league, sideline to sideline, coming back off an injury, fully healthy, hungry, going to be an absolute monster. Give me Matt Milano plus 20,000. This guy could lead the league in tackles. He could have the most impact plays at the position, interceptions, sacks, massive hits. Yeah, ask Mike White where his spleen is because he still ain't found that shit thanks to Matt Milano. Give me Matt Milano plus 20,000.
You have to like that because I feel like he actually probably got a few Defensive Player of the Year votes maybe 2 years ago. So he's not that far removed. So I think just because of the injury, out of sight, out of mind, it wouldn't surprise me if a couple of weeks from now that number is plus 10,000. I don't think he's going to instantly jump right back into that top tier level, but I think you're going to see these odds decrease drastically coming up. I took a couple of shots here. Brian Branch, the rookie safety, he will be the sophomore safety for the Lions. Really like the talent, had a little bit of trouble staying on the field, but he's one of those guys that can get the picks and is a pretty good pass rusher, can rack up tackles, do those things voters like. Tariq Woolen for the Seahawks down at plus 25,000. Again, you're going to have to hope for a whole bunch of picks, a whole bunch of pick returns for touchdowns, but he's shown that he could do it. And that number, I don't mind throwing a couple bucks. And I'm going to stick with the Raiders thing. Robert Spillane, plus 20,000. Antonio Pierce, his coach, is the former linebacker, going to rack up all them stats. So maybe if it's not Max Crosby, maybe it's Robert Spillane. Jamie G, I'm going to put you on the spot. New England Patriots, under over 5.5 wins.
Under.
I'm also going under. If I said 3.5, would you still go under?
I think they win 4.
4.5 feels like where the number will probably be set. If I had to guess, 4.5 or 5. So I gave them a little bit of a bump with the 5.5, assuming they draft a rookie quarterback. Maybe they get a little bit of love. How about the Dallas Cowboys? Under over 10.5 wins.
They over. I think they win 11, but I think it'll be the same thing as what it ends up being.
I'm going under. I feel a 9-8 season coming on. 10.5. That feel about right, you think, for their win total? These aren't up yet, so I am doing a little bit of handicapping here, but I feel 10.5 because the Cowboys are a little bit of a public team, so it's always a little bit juiced, I think.
It feels right to me. I mean, it feels right to me. I know that it was disappointing with the loss at home and all that, but you look at what they did in the regular season, it feels right to me.
Yeah, and they could still, win enough and win 11 games and not win the NFC East because who knows with that damn division. Jamie G, who will lead the NFL in receiving yards? We don't have numbers on this, so no odds involved. Just tell me, who's going to lead the NFL in receiving yards?
Go ahead and say CeeDee Lamb in Dallas. I just think he can. We saw what he emerged to as last year. I thought he was wide receiver 1 down the stretch last year on the back half of the season. I think he can do it again.
I like that. I wanted to go there. I've already talked about that, so I'm going to go just a touch different. I'm going to go with Jamar Chase under the hypothesis that they don't franchise T. Higgins, he walks, and Jamar Chase just gets a massive target share. Honorable mention, Puka Nacua. Just keeps it going. Sophomore breakout. My guess is we are doing this from a wagering standpoint. If we had odds here, Lamb and Chase are going to be right up there with Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson as the chalk. And Puka is going to kind of be, plus 800 or something like that, plus 1,000, while these other guys are going to be in that plus 250, plus the 500 range. So I think you would get a little bit more juice with Puka Nacua there. And finally, one last one. We have our issues with Joe Flacco winning the comeback player of the year over DeMar Hamlin, giving that, one dude died and the other one just managed to show that Deshaun Watson is not a very good quarterback. I need you to give me a prediction for your comeback player of the year award for next year. If you want to be serious, that's cool. But if you want to go Joe Flacco with it, that's probably even better.
I'm going to give you a Joe Burrow. I just think he's going to end up getting in. He's going to come back.
That feels too easy almost.
It does, but I just think that's what it's going to be. I just do.
Do you have a ridiculous one for me?
From a ridiculous standpoint, I would love to be like Ray Lewis comes back and plays one game for the Baltimore Ravens and gets comeback player of the year. I'm not going to go that crazy with it, but another one, it's not even that ridiculous. Aaron Rodgers.
All right. That's fair enough. And honestly, it probably is Rodgers, a quarterback who suffered a major injury. I think Rodgers probably has the bigger runway here just because he's older. He got hurt earlier and it was when he got traded to a new team and everything like that. So if he does come back, plays well, and the Jets make the playoffs, he is probably going to be the odds-on favorite there. If I want to have a little fun with it, how about Le'Veon Bell? He was implying that maybe he's talked to the Steelers about a comeback. If Le'Veon Bell came back and played special teams and just scored a couple of touchdowns, could he get some votes? I don't know. It's possible. How about Phillip Rivers? Every year there's talk of Phillip Rivers coming back. All he's got to do is come off the couch in December, right? We've established this precedent now. So all he's got to do is play 5-6 games. It's in play, I think. And you went...
Another one that's in play, he never officially retired, is Matt Ryan. Same thing, man. He can't come in and give you a couple games here in December down the stretch, take a team to the playoffs.
It's actually realistic, I think, next year, because last year, part of the reason he didn't play is because the Colts owed him guaranteed money, and there was an offset. So if he would have gone somewhere else, he still would have made the same amount of money to play as not playing. He just had to not actively retire. So we'll see if he's really serious or not. And speaking of really serious, a dude who he's not as old as Ray Lewis, but I know he could go out there and at least still play because we've seen him fight recently, literally. Frank Gore. You're telling me Frank Gore couldn't come back and at least be the best locker room presence. He's out there, he's playing special teams, he's teaching everyone how to hold on to the ball. I feel like you could do no wrong and people would love voting for Frank Gore. And then finally,
Frank Gore.
just for Jamie G, full on, kind of at any given Sunday, longest yard, whatever. He's coming back. He's eating the cereal. Doug Flutie.
Can we just get Freddie Jackson back, dude?
For one game. Just for one game. Someone needs to win one game and they can't get anybody else. And they're like, I bet you Doug Flutie's still he's that dude. He can just run around and make it happen, right?
He absolutely could, dude. Flutie is just, legendary, bro. Legendary.
The man has flakes.
Well, we're not quite sure what we're going to do here on Bet It, Bank It, Blow It from now until next NFL season. But Mills, maybe you got some ideas. Any current NBA juice that you like? Any basketball bets you want to get down on here while we're here?
Ooh, I like this because we are coming out of the All-Star break. And let me tell you, 3-point shooting contests and stuff was pretty fun. Rising Stars Challenge was pretty fun. Everything else pretty much sucked. Dude, almost 400 points were scored. I remember when the game total in the All-Star game was it was still under 300 points. This is just absolutely ridiculous. Even Adam Silver being congratulations, Eastern Conference. He scored 200 points. I guess you win whatever that was. He wouldn't even call it a game. It's really tough to pick a team that's not up for the chalk here. But if I wanted to go a little bit longer on some future odds to win the NBA Finals, I'm going to go young Oklahoma City plus 2,500. They have all the players. They are very deep. They are young and lack experience, but that might mean that they're too young to be scared. They don't know any better. Maybe they just come in and start rolling over people. They have the talent. Still, like Dallas, plus 3,000. Not going to bet against Luka once he gets into the playoffs. Super long shot would be the Indianapolis Pacers, plus 12,000. I like that. And go ahead, dump all the money on Tyreek Maxey as your most improved player, minus 195. And your boy Shea, plus 210 on the MVP. SGA, I'm feeling the Thunder. I'm going there. He winds up taking it home over Joker because he leads the Thunder to the 1 seed and then maybe even to the finals. Jamie G, got any NBA fun for us?
Give me my New York Knicks to win. Do something that I could never get done with Oakley and Starks and Ewing and all my guys. Give me the Knicks to win.
Plus 2,200, the Knicks to take down the NBA Finals. And
Yeah, buddy.
He is a tortured soul as he is rooting for the New York Knicks and the Buffalo Bills.
Yes. I don't know what I did to deserve it, but hey, that's why we love sports. Thank you guys for checking out Bet It, Bank It, Blow It, presented by Seize the Gap Fantasy Football. This has been so much fun this year. We can't wait to do Bet It, Bank It, Blow It in the offseason and really gear up and bring you guys our best bets, our best wagers throughout the 2024 NFL season. Get ready. We're all going to have a lot of fun. We're all going to make some coins, and it's going to be a great season. Now, what you can do in the meantime, so you don't miss that, is you need to give us a thumb, you need to follow, you need to like, you need to subscribe. Let us know what you want to see. Let us know your favorite bets. Let us know. We want to talk about them right here on Bet It, Bank It, Blow It. You can drop a line in the comments or, baby, slide in them DMs any damn day. Hit us up on our social medias. Mills will let you know where you can find us.
Thank you, Jamie G. Again, this has been Bet It, Bank It, Blow It, presented by Seize the Gap Fantasy Football. Find us wherever you get your podcast, on YouTube, on social media, at Seize the Gap FF, on the web, at seizegapff.com. Pretty simple stuff, easy to remember, just like the flaps. Follow, like, and please subscribe. It's all we ask. If you've made it this far, you probably had fun, so you should probably hit that thumb. I'm Magnum Mills. He's Jamie G. And don't forget one last thing. We can help you bet it. We can help you bank it, but blowing it is up to you.
May the Schwartz be with you.
I see your Schwartz is as big as mine.